There are 5 types of drone shots that are essential for almost any video you're going to film, whether it's for you or for corporate clients, and today I want to show you what those 5 drone shots are. Hey, my name's Jake and I create content here to help solo creators on the go. Today we're talking specifically about drone shots and the 5 different kinds of drone shots that I film for every single type of video that I film, whether it's me out doing stuff like this in Alaska or whether it's for corporate clients. I basically use a variation of one of these 5 shots in every video pretty much. Not necessarily all 5, but I make sure I get all 5 so that I have the option to use at least one of them in any kind of video that I'm going to produce. Number 1 is the classic establishing shot, and that's typically a very high, very wide, just kind of maybe not even moving, maybe static, but I always like to have a little bit of movement in those shots where it shows off the entire area and maybe you can see your subject in the area, but a lot of times you might not be able to, even with buildings or corporate clients. A lot of times you can't really necessarily see the subject, but it just establishes where you are, where your subject is, or where the story, the video is taking place. And so in case of these shots here, you see the subject in some of the shots, but not all of them. But it shows you and establishes where you are for the story, for the beginning of the film, for the beginning of whatever video you're producing, and it gives your audience an idea of where the next few shots, where the next bit of the story is going to take place. So establishing shots are very important, they're very easy to get, and they're probably one of the more common ones that most people think of when they think about drone. After establishing shots comes another kind of shot that I always like to get, and that's where you're a lot closer or a fair amount closer to your subject, and it does more establish your subject in the location. So it ties together that first big, wide, vast opening shot, whether there's a lot of movement or it's just very static, to where you are going to be and what your subject is in that frame or in that location. So in my case here, I'm a tiny person walking in a huge mountainous area with a red jacket on because it helps me stand out, which is a pro tip if you're going to be in places like this, wear something that makes your subject stand out from the background so that it's easy to find. But these types of shots, I really like to use an orbiting type shot where you just have a really nice side-to-side movement. That does a couple of different things. One, it gives you a really nice, lots of movement, sweeping movement that sort of reveals more information to your audience, to your viewers as you go, but it also just makes it much more interesting and much more fun to watch and much more engaging to watch. It gives your audience a lot more information about your subject and the location that they're in. Now, I use this on everything from buildings to, corporate offices, all those kinds of things, to obviously me, my friends, and I out exploring Alaska. But an orbiting shot that's kind of a medium close shot where you can really see the subject, but you can still see a lot of the location, really helps to tie your subject into the location that you use the establishing shot for in the beginning. And then we come to one of my other favorite shots, and that's the reveal shot. Now, a lot of these, I will come around from behind something to reveal your subject in a location, or fly really low and just slowly point the camera up as you're going along to reveal more information, to reveal your subject in that location, to reveal a specific thing about that location or a specific, office building or something like that. But the reveal shot is really nice because it not only helps to establish, but it also keeps people interested because there's information being given out to them over time. And typically for that, I do like to do the fly through kind of motion where you might have your subject walking in front of the drone and you're following it through, or you might fly through, a narrow corridor or something like that to reveal the information, to reveal your subject in that location in a whole new way. Now, you don't necessarily have to film these in this order. It kind of goes with wherever your drone is at the time and you just film these shots. But if you film all of these shots, I guarantee you'll have enough drone shots to really do some nice establishing work and to really reveal a lot of information to your audience as the video unfolds. And then we come to one of my favorite, which is just an interesting shot. There might be a really interesting landmark, or there might be something very interesting about the location, or something interesting about your subject. And so finding an interesting way to use the drone to show off that feature or that thing. Now, this is typically a lot closer of a shot, and maybe it might start really close and then pull away, or it might start high, straight down, and come down and do what's called a jib shot, where you tilt the camera up as the drone is coming down and it kind of reveals the background around your subject as you're dropping down. But these shots are just a way to show something that's interesting, show a perspective that your audience, the people watching the video, wouldn't necessarily see. And it's about revealing something interesting and showing something interesting from that perspective that you just normally wouldn't see. So these are a lot of fun shots. These are the ones you really get creative with. I love to do spiral orbiting shots as I'm coming up and down. I like to do the jib shots as I'm raising up or lowering down. I like to do the droney, the pullback shot to kind of reveal stuff, because you can start off on a really close point of interest and then back way off and reveal a whole bunch of information. But these are the shots you get really creative with. And then we come to one more type of shot that you can use a drone for, which is actually basically a really static shot, but because most drones add some sort of tracking ability, if you hover it just a few feet above the ground and you track your subject, you can use it to kind of just give a really simple panning shot that will follow your subject as they move through a location. These are really handy to just be able to use a kind of a storyline, and then you move into a different section or you move into something else, and it's a good transition shot or a good B-roll to add over something else. So using your drone as a B camera on a tripod, sort of, so to speak, where it's hovering just a few feet above the ground, 6-7 feet above the ground or 4 or 5 feet above the ground, and tracking your subject as you move through, it's really helpful to be able to use those kinds of shots to be able to transition or hide an edit point in your video. Now, if you want to learn other ways you can improve your drone videography and photography, click or tap right there. I put together a short playlist. As always, if you could have questions, ask me in the comments below or join my live stream Wednesday nights at 4 p.m. Alaska time, 8 p.m. Eastern. We just have 4 miles and a couple thousand feet to climb out to get back to the car before the sun sets. I'll see you again soon in the next video. Cheers.